Hey, what's up, everybody?
You know, some people have talked about this yesterday, and some people didn't have an opportunity to talk about it. And, well, I wanted to talk about it myself. Let me get into focus here.
Okay.
There you go. But, again, you can see what it is. It's sort of a reply, but it's basically the same thing people have been talking about. These are thoughts, basically my thoughts, on the whole Bruno Sammartino and WWE Hall of Fame deal. Now, pretty much everybody knows that Bruno's had a problem since about the late 80s with the WWE. Late 80s, early 90s, and throughout the 90s. He's had a problem with the WWE. Basically, Bruno, as many people, Jeff Shiegel, the Select Daddy, TV Tracks, and many other people have said, and I'm sure dads on wrestling, Renegade Wrestling would agree, Noah Adonis would agree, and you know, the wrestling gurus, the wrestling community, the British Fist, they would all agree that Bruno is old school. Basically, Bruno, and I'm going to try to make this as short as I can when I talk about this. Bruno is old school to the point that in the 90s, he basically was one of the people that was against Vince McMahon during the steroids trial. Very outspoken and everything. Now, throughout the 80s, when Bruno left the WWE in the very early 80s and everything, wanted to retire or semi-retire, he was brought back, basically, in some kind of settlement that was taken care of out of court. Part of the settlement was he was going to be able to do color commentary, and he could only work about 19 weeks, which is very, very limited. So Bruno basically did work for WWE doing color commentary and stuff, and this allowed his son David to kind of get an opportunity. Now, for some people that don't know this, and whether you want to believe it or not, David basically found out that Vince McMahon Jr., Vinnie Mac, was using him to get his father back in the ring, because his father at first was just a commentator who studied the wrestling. There was situations, different feuds going on that caused Bruno to have to take a more physical role in the ring along with his son. Now, even though his son quit, Bruno, out of the kindness of his heart, if you will, or the goodness of his heart, tried everything he could to get his son back in the good graces of the WWE and Vince McMahon. And after Bruno had his feuds, his opportunities, I mean, basically they put Bruno over some of the, I guess you could say, prime players at that time, like the Roddy Pipers, the Savages, the Honky Tonk Mans and stuff. And even though some were clean pinfall victories or steel cage match victories, some were either by disqualifications and stuff like that. But they still allowed him to go over. The only problem was the only thing was, despite doing all this, he never was able to get his son back into the WWE. And after about 88, 89, he left and went and worked various promotions, NWA, the NWA WCW, where he made an appearance at Halloween Havoc 89 as a special guest referee. He did commentary for the UWF, a few other promotions, and basically was in and out of the limelight and spotlight for quite some time. Now, again, his most notable situation with the business was him being very outspoken of the WWE and most importantly Vince McMahon in the 1990s during the steroid trial. And because of this, he's never really seen eye to eye anymore with the business. Most importantly, he's not just been outspoken against McMahon and the WWE during that time. His main problem is the current product itself. And the way it was going, is going, and could be going. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the ludicrous acts that happened during the Attitude Era and such, and this and that. You kind of get the idea. The things that WWE did. I mean, heck, he doesn't even... I'm pretty sure he doesn't even like the fact that you have a John Cena being the face of the company when maybe in his mind John Cena hasn't really contributed that much. Who knows? But here was the thing. Despite all these differences, he was invited to at least be backstage or be around to watch some Raws and SmackDowns throughout the 2000s. In fact, around 2004 or 5 or something like that, he was in Pittsburgh, and Triple H invited him to stay. He didn't want to. He declined the offer. He declined the offer. I think it was Triple H or somebody invited him to stay, but he declined the offer. Because basically when we found out, I think it was whoever was in the main event, Kurt Angle and Triple H, I think, or something, he didn't, I don't know if it was Kurt Angle and Triple H or whoever it was. Oh no, it was not. I mean, yeah, it was Kurt Angle. I don't know. Wait a minute. I think it was Triple H, Chris Benoit. I wasn't sure. I'm not really sure. But what happened was he didn't stay. But according to several sources, he would have stayed. He would have stayed at the Raw event and attended it if Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit were wrestling each other in the main event and not somebody else in Benoit or whatever it was. So basically, he didn't want to stay because of that. Basically, again, proving that he's old school. As a matter of fact, he's even come out and said he's a fan of Kurt Angle to the point that when TNA did their Kurt Angle Champion DVD, Bruno appeared on that and talked highly about Kurt Angle. So it kind of gives you an idea that Bruno, in my sense, from my opinion, would probably associate with himself with the WWE, but only if the likes of a Kurt Angle and a Chris Benoit were part of the WWE. Because to him, that's old school. That's wrestling. That's what the business should be. Now, a lot of people have their opinions about what happened over the past few days. It's pretty much, as you probably know by now, in case you've been hiding under a rock, Triple H, in many people's views, whether you like Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or you don't like Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or Parlavec, or whatever you want to call him, did the right thing. He did the right thing when he came out and said, hey, when he came out and he basically extended the olive branch to Bruno and said, look, I want you to be, I in the WWE want you to be the headliner, the man, the name, the marquee name for our Hall of Fame class next year. I want you there. I want you to be the man. But what happens? According to a source obviously close to Bruno, Bruno declines. Says he wants nothing to do with the WWE and its current product. Now, a lot of people have been very outspoken about Bruno's decision to decline, especially when you have someone like Triple H come out and literally extend the olive branch of friendship and say, hey, let bygones be bygones. Don't worry about my father-in-law. This is your moment. This is your time in the sun. Let's do this. He still declines, and a lot of people have had the difference of opinion. A lot of people feel as though he's being basically, and God forgive me for saying this about a legendary guy, a prick. To becoming a prick towards not just the business itself in the WWE, but being a prick to the fans that supported him, and even the new generation of fans that support him, because they watch his archival footage from the 70s, 60s, and even the 80s. You know, why would you become a prick in the eyes of some, excuse me for saying this, to those that support you, that have grown up with you from the 60s, 70s, 80s, followed your career, the new fans that grew up with you in the 80s and 90s and all that, even the newer fans, again, like I said, through things like Classic On Demand, like WWE 24/7 or Classics On Demand, that watch your archival footage. Why would you be against them? Why would you not give them what they want and say, okay, fine, I'll let bygones be bygones. I'll be your name marquee. I'll be your marquee name. I'll be the headliner for your Hall of Fame class. Why do that? Why not give them that satisfaction? I mean, Jeff Striegel, the Snake Daddy on the Off the Rope show, said it best. If you have to, fake it for the few days you're there. Fake it. Well, hell, if you feel like it, you got the biggest opportunity to give Vince McMahon and the WWE a big fuck you by going out there. Because think about it this way, folks. We all know that the Hall of Fame, whether you want to admit it or not, is probably one of the only times that legends who get inducted can actually not work shoot, but shoot on how they really feel. And this would be the perfect opportunity, as Jeff Striegel said, for Bruno Sammartino to basically give the WWE and Vince McMahon the big fuck you. And say, hey, I'm in your Hall of Fame class now, but fuck you in this business. This is what I think. This business goes to hell. Kind of deal. And basically, he could speak his mind, and there'd be nothing Vince could do, because contractually, he's allowed to say whatever he wants. So Vince can't do anything. But does Bruno want to do that? No. Basically, he doesn't want to take that opportunity. It's like, come on, man. You got the opportunity to be a Hall of Famer, but also at the same time speak your mind. I mean, heck, I was listening to a clip on the TV Tracks channel. It was from the Don and Kevin show, and they both agreed that if Bruno doesn't want to be there, you know what? Still induct him. Take a page out of the Academy Awards, take a page out of the Emmys, take a page out of the Golden Globes, out of the American Music Awards. If the guy's not going to be there, still induct him, show highlights, and then have someone like Triple H come out and say, Bruno couldn't be here tonight, but we will accept this on his behalf. And then if you have to fucking mail him the ring or the plaque, go ahead and say, look, we're still, and show more, and basically show that you're better than somebody that should be giving back to the fans. I mean, if I'm WWE, I would do that. I would induct Bruno, whether he's there or not, even if he's not there, I should say. And I would mail him, I would FedEx, I would UPS him his ring and his plaque saying, look, you're part of the Hall of Fame class, whether you like it or not. And it shows you that we're basically this is what WWE would be doing. They'd be showing that they're the better man. They're the better man because they would still be inducting a person that's against the product. I mean, look at Von Gagne. At times he's an old school kind of guy, and he still got inducted, and he liked it. I mean, Bruno Sammartino. Come on, a guy that come on, Bruno. Come on, Bruno Sammartino, a guy that held this championship, basically, if you will. Well, not these exact belts, but you get the idea. This championship, for a total of 11 years, 2 different reigns, 11 years, the first one being 7 years, a 7-year reign, and yet the guy that held this championship, this company's most prestigious championship, a championship that's held by a guy that Bruno would actually probably be happy to have as a champion, because he's kind of old school, and CM Punk, you think that Bruno would say, okay, I'll let my bygones be bygones, I'll put my feelings on the shelf for 1 weekend. Swallow your pride, man. Swallow your fucking pride. I mean, the Hall of Fame is basically like a graduation. You know, when I graduated out of high school, before I even graduated, I looked upon the walls, the hallway walls. I looked up on the hallway walls in my high school, and they had class pictures of all the students of all the different senior classes. And then, when I'd be walking down to the cafeteria, down the highway between the cafeteria and the break hall, I'd look, and they would have this rotating thing where you just pull to the side. There's one class, there's another class, there's another. And to know that my class was added after 97, in 99, it was added to that very picture, or to that very lineup. And basically, it ensured my immortality. It ensured me and my classmates' immortality in that school, in what we had done and what we had accomplished. That's exactly what the Hall of Fame is like. And it doesn't matter what sport or sports entertainment venue it is. When you go into a Hall of Fame or a Walk of Fame, if you will, you're basically being honored for your contributions and your accomplishments. I mean, hell, Bruno Sammartino has a place on the Madison Square Garden Walk of Fame. The Walk of Fame. I mean, Bruno, the Walk of Fame is just basically the next step to a Wrestling Hall of Fame. Yeah, you got a spot in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, there's no doubt about that, in New York and New Jersey. But the biggest accolades as far as national, worldwide conglomerate company, wrestling promotions or whatever go, the WWE Hall of Fame is the place. Is the place, and you know it. Yeah, you can come out and argue and say, well, where's the building? Where's the building? WWE has been planning for years to get in a building going. And they're already, last time I heard, they're looking into areas in the floor, looking in sections in the Florida areas to build one. You don't think WWE doesn't want to have a physical building for fans to walk into and look at all the stuff from the past legendary stars that are in the Hall of Fame? You don't think they don't want people to walk into a building and see, you know, the wrestling attires and belts held by the likes of Edge, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold? You don't think they don't want them to do that? They do. And they're currently looking for an area in the Florida area, in the state of Florida, looking for an area in either the Orlando or Tampa Bay areas, or Miami areas. Who knows? But they're looking for a place. And just because there isn't a physical Hall of Fame doesn't mean you shouldn't be against the Hall of Fame. Not just you shouldn't be declining or against being inducted into the Hall of Fame because of that, or because of how you feel about the current product. Heck, you know, there's a word out there that people use. There's a thing that people use when it comes to these kind of situations. It's called compromise. And if you and here's the thing, if I'm Bruno Sammartino, here's what I do. Bruno, if I know the WWE wants me desperately to headline their Hall of Fame class next year, and I have the son-in-law of the person that I have a rivalry, that I have a disdain for in some ways, extending the olive branch of friendship and respect to me, here's what I do. I compromise. I say, alright, you want me in the Hall of Fame? Here's what we do. I'll be in the Hall of Fame, but I want you guys, leading into WrestleMania, as soon as you announce me as the headliner, as the first inductee, I want you guys to go old school. I want you to prove me wrong. Go old school. Have the baby faces do what we used to do in the past. Have the good guys in one area and the bad guys in another. Don't have them associate. Don't break kayfabe. Don't do this. Don't do that. Stay in character. And you know what? If that's what it's going to take, as well as maybe say, oh, turn down the pyro. Let's not use pyro for a while and blah, blah. Again, if that's what it's going to take to get him into the Hall of Fame next year, fine, do compromise. Do that kind of a compromise. I would, if I was Bruno and I was being offered this opportunity, I would compromise. Again, Bruno, you're the guy that held this very championship for a total of 11 years on 2 different reigns. 1 year, first reign, 7 years, longest reign anybody's ever had for the WWE title. Second reign, 4 years. Not many people can say that, not even Hulk Hogan. Not even John Cena. Not even Ric Flair. You get the point that I'm trying to get towards everybody? And Bruno, if you're listening to me or anybody else that's done a video here on YouTube, you got to swallow your pride, and if you want to feel the way you do, compromise. If you know they really want you, compromise. Don't be a prick. Don't deny those that have supported you since the 60s, 70s, from the 60s throughout the 70s, 80s, and all that, this opportunity. Don't deny those that became fans of yours throughout the 80s and 90s and until now, this opportunity. Don't deny those that have become fans of yours throughout the 90s till now, this opportunity. Don't deny those that are watching your matches through things like WWE Classics on Demand. Don't let them be denied this opportunity, Bruno. Don't let him be denied this opportunity. And again, it's like Jeff has said, you got the biggest chance of your life. And anybody knows this is true if they were in your shoes. You got the biggest chance of your life to go out there and shoot on Vince McMahon after you're inducted. Because you'll be inducted and there's nothing he can do about it. Nothing. And if that's not the case, if I'm you, WWE, and that still doesn't work, the compromising and all that, still do what those guys over the Dave and Kevin show, or David and Tony show said, or the David and Kevin show said. Induct him even if he's not there. Have someone like Triple H come out and say, Bruno couldn't be here, but we'll accept this on his behalf. And then show that you are the better man. You are the better man. And despite that, how he feels about you, that you are respectable, a very honorable company. And mail him his fucking plaque. Mail him his fucking ring. And say, look, you may have not wanted to show up to be inducted into the Hall of Fame because you're being a prick. But look, we were kind enough to do it for you, and here you go. Again, that's another option. But let's hope down the line Bruno changes his mind before the year's out, or in the next year or so. Because he needs it. Because he needs this opportunity. He deserves it. The fans deserve it. And that's all I'm going to say. So, comment down below. Tell me what you think. Video response if you like. I'll talk to y'all later.